That leads me to my topic.
Right. Which is?
My topic is going back to school and the things that kids face going back to school health-wise. And so one of the big things that I've noticed, and I always notice every year, I used to do a seminar every year right before school started on backpacks and backpack safety. Backpacks are one of the worst things for our children. And they're necessary. They're a necessity. You can't even have rolly backpacks at school. Like, I think they outlawed them. They had them for a while, but then they said that people were tripping on them in the halls and this and that. So now you have to carry it on your back. We had a backpack that was sort of a sideways backpack, had a strap sideways for them, and that seemed to be better. But if you're buying your children backpacks, there's some rules of thumb that you really should remember. Number one, it's supposed to sit above the butt. Like, the bottom of it should not go down past the belt line, I'll say. If it's dragging past the belt line, you need to tighten the straps up. Otherwise, it's pulling them backwards. And when it's pulling them backwards, it's putting all that stress on their spine. Oh. And then what do? They don't want to fall back, so then they're leaning forward. Right. And they're bending forward. And I see them always hunched over with these two heavy backpacks on their back. And, people say, well, they got to have these backpacks because they're carrying all these books. Why are they carrying all these books? Right. Like, I want to know, why do they have to carry them all day?
Do they have homework in all those books?
Well, and that's what I ask, because when I would do the seminars, I would tell people it'd be really nice if you could have two sets of books, one for at home and one for at school. Would be. So ask your teacher, and sometimes they have extras. So if you find your child is struggling, having a really hard time carrying their books around, find out if the teacher has an extra that they can use or keep at home, or maybe the library has a copy that they can check out.
Good point. Because some children are stronger than others.
Yes, and some it's going to really affect them depending on how their back is shaped and what's going on. So that's super important. You're not supposed to have more than 15% of your body weight. Okay, so let's think about that. If we have a 100-pound kid, that means 15 pounds.
Right.
Probably the average backpack's about 20 to 25 pounds, even at elementary school.
Wow, that's terrible.
It is terrible.
And for that much weight, that's like half again.
I'm saying it's terrible. So another remedy that I have asked people to do is possibly have two backpacks. Have a morning backpack and an afternoon backpack. And as soon as you get to school, put that afternoon backpack in your locker. So after lunch, you can just grab the other backpack, and now you're on the afternoon portion. That way it splits the weight in half. You can carry one on your back to school, but one in your hand. When you get to school, put one in the locker. Then you're only traipsing around with maybe half the weight that you normally would have.
Right. That makes for developing good organizational skills too.
Absolutely.
Because once they get there, they'll have to take the books out that they had homework in.
Right.
And decide. So it sends new neural pathways into their brain about organization. So that kind of accomplishes two things.
It does. It probably accomplishes more than that even. And then, we always want to make sure that it's not too wide also. Like, they make these backpacks for adults, and you see them on these, 8, 9-year-old kids, and the backpack's twice as wide as their back.
They look like turtles.
Yeah, they should not have that. In fact, the back of the backpack should be the same distance from shoulder to shoulder that the child is. And it should be no longer hanging down past their belt line, past their waist. Some of them have these waist straps, which are helpful. So if you have the waist strap, use the waist strap. Some of them have air in the little air bladders in the strap part. Super nice. I had bought a few of those. Cushy, yeah. I had bought a few of those for the practice, just to have around the practice to show people.
We should make people bras wanted to like buy that.
Them. Ooh, I'm liking that.
Doesn't that feel good?
Deb just segued with us, but I've had those ones that are made of gel. Those feel really good.
Ooh. Sorry, go on.
That's okay. So, we want our kids to be straight and tall and not have bad posture, and yet we load them up with all this cargo every day, day in, day out. So that's a problem. It really is a problem. Even for my college kids, I tell them, stash a backpack in your car.
Mm-hmm.
Go out to your car when you have a minute and switch backpacks for evening classes. I mean, obviously, you can't have a locker on every side of the school.
Right.
You can't be stashing things in multiple places in the school. But you have time at least once during the day to go switch backpacks. I mean, I think that it's super important. And then, like I said, try to see if you can get a copy of the book at home. Maybe see if, you can't really make copies of a book, so you can't do that because of copywriting laws. But, maybe the library has an extra copy or something the child could check out. So that's really important to me because structurally wise, that can play a huge role in the developing spine and the musculature of the back and all of that. So we don't want our kids to be having back problems early on. And nowadays the books are so big. I mean, they're just so thick.
Yep, history books aren't getting smaller, are they?
No. I get it. Think if we had history like real history, like all the way through back the times. We would be carrying computers around with us.
Oh, we would be, yes.
We couldn't
and
have
those
books.
are not light either.
No. You know what? In 10 years, I bet you, because now they're sending out iPads, but I bet you now in 10 years or even less than that, we'll probably have the books online that they can just, hit a button. And
I bet. Because look now, even now in some programs, you can highlight, you can write in the margins. Right, that's
so
true.
I think that's good. That would be great
that's not too
if
far away,
eventually they're walking around with like a thin iPad. Yeah. Patrick said makes you wonder why they don't already do that.
It's
and
not
I know it's copyright laws and stuff like that, and, stuff. But they'll get around that eventually, and they'll figure it out, which will be great for our children. Another thing that I worry about with the kids going back to school, and everybody worries about, is germs. There's a lot of germs at school. Once you start sending your kids back to school, everybody's sick around them, and they're getting sick and all of that. Well, they send this what is that? Hand sanitizer. I hate that
I'm
stuff.
allergic to it.
I hate that stuff. I mean, I get it, and I understand, but there is no substitution for soap and water. And if you're just, my friend Danielle's probably watching right now. If you're just killing the critters and leaving them on your hands, dead critters on your hands, that's to me just as gross as, not
Yeah, you've
killing
said that
them
to
at
me
all.
before, and that whole concept is I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
I'd rather
Plus,
have them
it's
gone.
mostly alcohol-based. So now you're doing damage to your skin. You're taking in the alcohol, and that's not good for you. So, I mean, wash your hands. It's not that hard. Every time you go to the bathroom, wash your hands. I see 30 to 40 people in a day. I probably wash my hands 50 times.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
I'm just washing and washing and washing. And they don't get dry. I use good soap,
What kind of soap do you use?
Oh, gosh, now you put me on the spot. I can't think of what it is, but it's a good moisturizing soap.
Good.
It's got hand conditioners. It's for
Good.
sensitive hands. It's really good soap, so I'm not getting super dry. My hands stay pretty moist. But, yeah, and I also put lotion on my hands a couple times a day.
When I was in the hospital when my granddaughter was being born, I used that hand sanitizer, and I don't like it. I've never liked it. Mm-hmm. And it gave me patches of yucky skin in my thumb canal.
Oh, my
I don't know
gosh.
if that's
Like it
right.
dried you out
Yeah,
completely.
and my one friend said it like triggered psoriasis or something.
Wow.
And it won't go away, and it's itchy.
What do you mean it won't go away? You still have it?
Yeah.
After
And
this
she's-
many years?
Months.
Oh, months.
She just turned 3 months.
Oh.
I know.
Well, we're going to have to look at you and muscle test and
It's
find out
weird.
what you need, because that's weird.
And I've put several things on it. I went online and looked, and it goes away for like a little while, and then it comes back. I'm not a big fan of hospitals. It might be all mental.
Well, a lot of people go into hospitals. They come out sicker. I'm just
Right.
saying. But, I'm not a big germophobic. They
Germs have their place.
do.
It's just not on your hands.
Chiropractically speaking, my underlying philosophy is that I have to keep my immune system up. I have to make myself strong. I have to eat right, exercise, keep my immunity working for me, and then I should be able to fight most of the critters out there. And what I don't, they'll become symbiotic, and we'll just deal with one another.
Right.
And, but I rarely get sick. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't get sick. I might get sick for a day or two. Very short-lived, if at all. I usually start taking my good for me's right away. I call them my good for me's. It's usually my colloidal silver and possibly my oregano oil. And I'm not saying everybody out there needs to take that, but, I muscle test myself for these things, and these are the things that come up that I need for it. Sometimes it's MSM, which is a detoxifier. But MSM, not everybody can take because that's a sulfur-based thing. So, again, you have to be muscle tested for that.
And what do sulfur-based things do to people? What kind of reaction might they have?
Sulfur-based things can make people really sick if they're sensitive to it. I mean, they just will be sick.
Like sick to their stomachs?
Can be hives, can be any kind of reaction, really. Breathing. People who are allergic to certain antibiotics are usually allergic to sulfas. Because that's what they are. They're one class, like penicillin and all of those, I think it is. Don't quote me, but I think one of those classes is sulfur-based, so a lot of them you can't take.
So, what I take when I feel myself start getting sick is echinacea and vitamin C.
Yeah, and those are great immune boosters. And so is zinc, but zinc orally really does cause nausea and sometimes
that makes me a little.
I can't take zinc orally, but I can put it on my feet. If you've ever used A&D or not even A&D, like zinc-based ointment on
real
baby
white
butts.
stuff.
Yeah,
right.
the
what
white
is
paste,
that?
butt paste.
Wait, keep talking and I'll think while you're talking.
Like Desitin type stuff.
Yes,
like for baby butts. Anyways, that is a zinc product. And so if I need zinc, I will put a little smear of that on the bottom of my feet before I go to bed at night, and I'll soak the zinc.
Oh, I never even thought of that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, because I don't like, and they have lozenges and stuff, but it still makes me nauseous. I remember one day I forgot, and I took some echinacea, some zinc. I thought I was getting sick. I think I took some vitamin D too. All at once together on an empty stomach. I started to work, and I'll tell you what, I didn't get 10 miles out of town and had to pull over and was throwing up. Oh,
dear.
I was sick as a dog for like 6 hours straight. Throwing up.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And it was all because of the zinc. I can't take it on an empty stomach. So
we used to use zinc when I was a lifeguard on our noses. As a sunblock,
Yeah, and those can be sunblocks too, but you got to be careful with zinc too. You can't get too much.
Maybe that's what happened to me.
My friend says I can't get the radio show to work to listen, so I don't know if there's an issue.
What's she on? Ask her.
Let's see. On W4 Divas.
Is she on the website or
Facebook?
It's on the app.
Probably the Facebook line. So sorry if you guys can't hear. I'm sorry. But you can, you can't hear me, so I can't tell you what you can do.
Tell her to go to W4 Divas, listen here, I'll type it while you're talking.
Oh, that's okay. I'll have her download it later.
Okay.
She'll watch it later.
Okay.
I mean, can't watch it, but They like to see me.
She could watch it if she was on Facebook.
Well, that's what she's saying. I think the Facebook is the one they can't hear. I don't think it's you guys.
You know what? Sometimes people have that problem. Zulika had it once, too. Everything was fine except for... Tell her to go to the app, W4 Divas app.
Go to the app, W4 Divas
app. Show her. Here.
I'll have to type her.
Both. So anyway...
It says both. W4 says network error. Did you go live?
Look, mine is fine.
Okay. Well, it might just be, unfortunately, the internet up there in Huron County today.
Oh, it could be. Yeah.
Okay. So, but we tried to fix it. Sorry, honey.
We'll give them,
right.
We'll give you a link. We'll give you a link right when the show's over. I'll give you a link to it.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
Can
you sign that?
No. I don't know how to sign. I could fake it, but I'm afraid what I might say. It might make me blush again. Jeez.
Oh, that was funny.
But anyways, we were talking about going back to school and trying to avoid the germs. And What I do, I don't use the zinc and the echinacea unless I'm ill. If I start to feel sick, I'll start.
Like when you first start getting sniffles or something?
Yeah.
Yep, same with me.
Yeah. But the silver